Welcome or welcome back to this making a market bag series. I'm kind of doing where I'm drafting a pattern, so there might be a bit of trial and error with this. But last time we got through making most of the base. We just have one more round to go before we start our scalloped edge. And I'm kind of thinking I might do 2 rounds of scallops on top of each other to maybe give a little bit more stability before I move into doing something that's more like mesh. Um, I've already kind of got started on this round to go ahead and get us moving. But this is the 14th round, which means that our increase will happen in every 13th stitch. Um, and always remember that you can count from the V that your increase stitches make, and count up if you lose count. Also, you kind of notice that doing this method of increased is less of a circle and more you have some specific corners and points. So that's always going to be around about where your increases lie. If you kind of look at the stitch, you'll kind of see where it moves in like a curve shape because of the nature of like things expanding. Um, but I think that the pattern's pretty. I'm sure there's ways to make it more circular, but I think for the purposes of this works fine and is simple and easy. So we have our V stitch here for our increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is 12. It's our single crochet. And then to increase, we put 2 single crochets in that 13th stitch. So we will work our way around in that method. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now here is our increase. So you continue in the same method until you hit the beginning of our round, which I keep a stitch marker in every time I start a new round, just to kind of keep me on track. Now here is our increase. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Increase. And we'll keep trucking along. And increase. And got one more chunk to go. You should always end your last stitch on an increase. So that is another good way to make sure you have your stitch count right. So let me just make a note of what round we're on. And round 14 is going to be, what, 84 stitches. And now we're going to go on to the scallops, or what I call scallops. That's going to be round 15. So I'm going to take our stitch marker out. Don't really think we'll need that anymore. I'll keep it off to the side over here, just in case. I've kind of scribbled how I think that the scallops will work, and I think with this being a multiple of 6 increase, so we started with 6 single crochets, that this should work out evenly. I hope. Me and counting don't always get along. So in the first stitch, we're going to do a single crochet, and then we're going to skip 2 stitches, and then in the third stitch we are going to start with a double crochet, so just yarn over, hook in the stitch, yarn over through the 2 loops, through the other 2 loops. And how we do scallops is kind of like your V's, or I don't actually know what they're called. Basically it's double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. You end on a double crochet, and as many as you want to do. It's all going to be in the same stitch, so in the same space. I think I'm going to do 5 double crochets. So it's always double crochet and then a chain 1. So that's 3. Here's our 4th one. And then 5. And you don't chain 1 after that. We'll skip 2 stitches. Dog hair in the market bag, as always. And then in the third stitch, we're going to actually single crochet to have that come down and make our arc. And we will just repeat that going around. I think that the only issue that I want to come across here is that our round will always end. You see, like this was our last round, and then the next one is going to go down. So I think that doing 2 rows of scallops kind of on top of each other might actually sort of help with making that look a little bit more even. We'll just have to kind of see what happens. So same thing, skip 2, double crochet into that third stitch, chain 1, double crochet again in the same stitch, and you just repeat this. You can do more double crochets in one stitch if you want it to be a more compact, or if you're working with a lighter weight yarn. But I think for this 4-weight acrylic, the 5 is enough, and it shows up fine and does what we need to do. Skip 2 stitches, single crochet, skip another 2 stitches, double crochet. And we are moving right along. I think this is going to look cute. What I like about crochet is that all of these stitches are relatively simple. It's just how you're combining them together. gives you these different patterns. Let's go 2 and single crochet. If you're doing more stitches in the single stitch space, sometimes that next stitch kind of gets hidden. So make sure that when you're doing this that you can really pull and see where your stitches are after your scallop. Sorry. My yarn is getting tangled. Instead of having something in a nice spool, I'd started making a market bag based off of a pattern in a book, and it was like a really wide base. And I was at making the handles, and I was just like, this isn't the right shape that I want. So I just completely undid it, or frogged it, as some people would say. And so now I just sort of have like this massive yellow yarn. Okay, skip 2, single crochet, skip another 2, double crochet. Oops. Okay, skip 2. Here we go. Skip another 2. Now, boop boop. Single. I hope I've done this math right. And that ends where I need it to end. Because if not, it's going to be a little annoying. But kind of the name of the game. Also, if you do this on a smaller scale, you can make some cute little flower petal coasters. But for coasters, if you know you're going to put something really hot on those, I wouldn't use acrylic because acrylic and a lot of heat don't always go well together. Definitely no acrylic pot holders. That wouldn't be good. For coasters to catch just condensation, acrylic would be fine. Single crochet, skip 2, the wind here is really ripping. I don't know if you can hear it. You also might hear my dog snoring. Skip 2 single crochet, skip 2 double crochet. I'm going to kind of speed through these next couple. Oh, well, that's what I get for going fast. Chain one's still there. Okay, skip 2, single crochet, skip 2. Last double crochet. I do think I did the math right. It's a small miracle. Because this dips down, right? We can see where they're almost at like different levels. I didn't want to end in the same starting stitch. So still if we do skip 2 and we're here, that is like the perfect place where I want to slip stitch. So this is where we're at right now. I think that if I do the next step, the video is going to end up being a little too long. Um, so I do think I want to do 2 rounds of scallops, which for me means doing a sort of single crochet chain row to give structure to put the scallops back on. But I need to figure out where I'm going to put stitches. So I think that will be my next step for the next time, where we can just do that line across of stitches and our next scallop round, probably another straight line across to build the mesh around. And then maybe at the top, before we get to the handles, we can do another scallop edge and maybe have the handle in between some scallops. Maybe like that. Is that 4 and 5? And that would be even on both sides. So I think that would be good for some repetition of the pattern. Tie some things together. So that's probably going to be how this goes. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to see you in the next part.